The bond didn't fade after the bell. It got louder, hotter, like a second heartbeat that wasn't mine. And when the dragon finally spoke inside my head, it didn't ask for my name. It asked for a price. A debt I didn't remember making. Tonight, the mark on my skin will decide who I belong to before dawn, or I lose everything. Chunk 1/4. The mark on Alara Vance's wrist wasn't a tattoo, it was a countdown. It pulsed beneath her skin, warm, then hot, then ice cold, like something was breathing through her veins. She kept her hand hidden in her sleeve as the chamber emptied, the stone floor still humming with leftover magic. A bell had rung once. Her name had answered. But the dragon hadn't even shown itself. Alara turned toward the black circle where the symbols had collapsed into shadow. "Hello?" Her voice came out smaller than she meant it to. Silence. Then, inside her mind, not her ears, a sound like a low thunderclap wrapped in velvet. You heard the bell. Alara froze. Her heartbeat stumbled. "Who?" "Do not speak aloud," the voice warned. "There are listeners." Her throat tightened. "You're the dragon." A pause, heavy and ancient. "I am the oath." The temperature dropped. The torchlight on the walls fluttered as if it wanted to retreat. Alara's wrist burned, and she bit back a gasp. "Why did you choose me?" she whispered in her thoughts, feeling ridiculous, like praying to a storm. The answer came cold and clear. "I did not choose you. I claimed you." Alara's knees almost gave out. Claimed. Like a prize. Like property. Footsteps echoed at the far entrance. Alara snapped her sleeve down just as a tall figure stepped into the chamber. Black uniform, silver clasps, the crest of the High Court stitched at the shoulder. His eyes swept the room like he expected to find a weapon left behind. He stopped when he saw her, and his expression hardened instantly. "You shouldn't be here," he said. Alara lifted her chin. I could say the same. His gaze flicked to her wrist, too fast to be a coincidence. "You were marked," he murmured. "Of course." Alara's skin prickled. "You know what this is?" The man stepped closer, and for the first time, she noticed the scar across his knuckles. Thin, pale, deliberate, like someone who'd made a promise with blood and lived to regret it. "My name is Kyle Arden," he said, "and if you don't leave with me right now, you won't leave at all." Chunk 2/4. Alara hated how the words "with me" landed, like an order. "I'm not going anywhere," she said, even as the mark pulsed again, warning hot. Kyle's jaw tightened. "You don't understand what you just triggered." "I understand enough," Alara snapped. A bell rang. "My name..." Kyle cut her off, voice sharp. "Bonding Day isn't a ceremony, it's a filter. The circle doesn't invite, it identifies. And when it identifies, the court collects. Alara Vance." Her own name sounded wrong in his mouth. Kyle's eyes flicked over her face like he was memorizing her for a report. "You're from the Outer Districts." "Yes, and?" "And the court doesn't let Outer District girls become keys." He said the last word like it tasted bitter. Ilara's stomach dropped. "Keys to what?" Before Kale could answer, the chamber lights flared, violet and violent. The black circle on the floor reappeared for a heartbeat, the symbols spinning as if something below was trying to surface. Alara's wrist screamed with heat, and inside her mind, the dragon, no, the oath, spoke again. "The price is due." Alara clenched her teeth. "Price? What price?" Kyle swore under his breath. "You felt that." Alara met his eyes. "So you believe me now?" "I believed you the second you walked in," he said. Then, softer, "I just hoped I was wrong." The far doors slammed shut on their own. Locks clicked, metal groaned. Alara spun, pulse racing. "Kyle!" He was already moving, grabbing her arm, careful not to touch the mark directly. "Listen to me. Do exactly what I say." Alara jerked back. I'm not your soldier. Kyle leaned in, voice low. No, but you're the court's target. And if they take you, they'll use you until there's nothing left to use. That hit harder than fear, because it sounded like truth. The air thickened with magic. A line of violet light crawled across the stone floor, drawing itself into a door-shaped outline. Alara stared, horrified. Is that a gate? Kyle's face went pale. They're opening it from the other side. The outline blazed, the chamber filled with a smell like rain on hot metal. Alara's mark pulsed in time with the light, like it was answering. Kyle reached into his coat and pulled out a thin blade. Not a weapon, an instrument. Alara, he said carefully, I need you to trust me for 10 seconds. Alara's throat went dry. Why would I trust you? Kale's eyes softened just a fraction. Because I'm the only one here who wants you alive. The violet outline split, cracking open like glass. Something moved inside the darkness. Alara didn't think. She just ran, right as Kale grabbed her hand and dragged her toward the side corridor. Behind them, the gate screamed. A shape lunged through, half shadow, half armor, too tall to be human. It landed with a sound that shook dust from the ceiling. Alara stumbled, heart in her throat. Kale shoved her behind a pillar. Don't look at it, he hissed. If it notices you, it locks on the mark. Alara pressed her back to cold stone, breath ragged. What is that thing? A collector, Kale whispered. The court's favorite method. They pretend it's a myth so nobody panics. The collector's head tilted as if sniffing the air. Violet runes glowed along its throat. Alara felt her wrist pull, like a magnet being dragged toward steel. The price, the oath murmured. Blood for blood. Alara's vision blurred. No, I didn't agree to anything. You stepped forward. You spoke the words. You accepted the answer. A bell rang once in her memory, mocking. Kyle grabbed her sleeve and yanked it higher. His eyes widened when he saw the mark fully. Damn it, he breathed. It's a royal bond. Alara stared at him. A what? Kyle swallowed. The kind the court can't control. Unless they control you. The collector turned sharply, as if it had heard that sentence. Kyle moved fast. He pulled the thin blade across his own palm. One quick slice. Blood beaded, bright against his skin. Alara flinched. Wow. What are you... Kale pressed his bleeding palm against the stone, smearing a symbol. An old ward, drawn from memory. The air hummed. The corridor light flickered. Kale, Alara hissed, panic rising. Explain. I can't, he said, not with it this close. Just when I say run, you run. The collector stepped closer. The runes on its throat brightened, pulsing like a heartbeat. Alara's wrist burned so hard she nearly cried out. Kyle's voice turned harsh. Alara! Focus on me! Breathe with me! Don't let the mark! The collector lunged. Kyle shoved Alara sideways, taking the impact. Metal shrieked. Kyle slammed into the pillar, breath knocked out of him. Alara screamed his name, then clamped a hand over her mouth as the collector's head snapped toward her. It saw her. Violet light shot from the creature's chest, threading straight toward Alara's mark. Alara felt it latch on. Her blood turned to ice, and inside her mind, the oath spoke like a verdict. Pay it. Alara's lips trembled. I don't have anything to pay. The mark flared, then the air around her split open with heat. For the first time, she felt it. The dragon, behind the voice. Not a body. Not wings. A presence so vast, it made the room feel like a toy. Kyle groaned, pushing himself up, eyes unfocused. Alara, don't... But Alara couldn't move. The collector tightened the violet thread, and the oath whispered, almost tender, say the vow, or watch him die. Chunk 4/4. Alara's lungs seized. Her eyes snapped to Kale. blood on his palm, dust in his hair, his body angled like he'd still stand between her and death even while falling apart. "Say the vow," the oath repeated. "Spill what is owed." Alara's mind screamed no, but her heart made a different sound. It sounded like fear turning into rage. She stared at the collector. Then she spoke inside her mind, voice shaking. "What vow?" The oath answered in a single sentence. "Bind your truth to mine." Alara swallowed hard. "What does that mean?" she whispered out loud, then immediately regretted it. The collector's runes brightened, delighted. Kyle's head snapped up. "Alara, don't speak!" Alara clenched her fist, nails biting into her palm. She tasted blood. Something in her chest cracked, like a door giving way. She looked at Kale. "If I do this, what happens to me?" Kale's face went tight with horror. "Alara," he started and stopped, like the rest of the words were too cruel. That was answer enough. The violet thread yanked again, and Kale gasped, body jerking like he'd been hooked. Alara snapped. "Fine," she whispered. Her voice turned steady, even as tears blurred her vision. "Fine, tell me the words." The chamber went still. Even the collector paused, as if listening, and the oath spoke, slow and ancient, like carving letters into stone. "Say, I give what I hide, I lose what I lie, I owe what I take." Alara's mouth went dry. Kale's voice broke. "Don't, Alara, please." Alara shut her eyes. She could feel the weight of it, how the vow wasn't a spell, it was a law, but Kale was breathing, barely. Alara opened her eyes and stared into the violet light. "I give what I hide," she said. "I lose what I lie. I owe what I take." The mark exploded with heat. The violet thread snapped, shattering like glass. The collector screamed an awful, metallic sound and stumbled backward, runes flickering out. Kale collapsed to his knees, choking in air. Alara swayed, dizzy. And then, the chamber ceiling darkened as if a massive shadow passed overhead. A single eye opened in the smoke above the circle. Violet, slit pupil, watching her like a star watches an ant. The oath's voice returned, calm now, satisfied. Good girl. Alara's stomach turned. Kyle looked up at her, terror in his eyes. "Alara, what did you just do?" Alara stared at her wrist. The mark was no longer a simple symbol. It had become a sentence, written in living light, a promise that would punish her every time she tried to hide. And the oath whispered the final line, soft as a kiss, sharp as a knife. "Now pay the rest. Cut to black.